Hello, everyone. How's everybody doing today?
Real good.
Man, how you doing today after rocking out? I mean, like we are blasting it out with some. What did we have there? Was that who was
Guns
that?
N' Roses?
What's that?
Guns N' Roses.
Guns N' Roses. Yeah.
I almost started singing along with my mic open. You're lucky I caught that.
Oh yeah, I'm surprised I wasn't over here rocking out. All right, guys, man, we finished the first half. What'd you guys think of that first round of Spark, even if it was your second time? Is there anything that stands out that you're starting to pick up as you go through it multiple times? Or is there just something that really hit you this time at your first time? What'd you get out of Spark so far? I mean, we cover a lot of stuff.
And before you jump in, just I'm Scott with Guaranteed Rate. I'm your sponsor today, FYI.
Yes. Oh, good. I got to jump in and let me know you're here because I can't see everybody on this screen. So after we go through the ahas, we'll let our sponsor jump in here real quick, and then we'll kick off the material. What are you guys getting? You getting anything good out of Spark? What are you putting into place? What are you putting into action, or what do you have to put into action?
Well, for me, managing my database better, really reaching out and getting people automated, or not automated, but just reaching out and touching them and getting that real estate in their mind. So they think about me when real estate comes up.
Yeah. And are you doing that every single day? A few people a day, 5 people a day? Are you getting to that consistency yet? That's what
that's what I'm trying. I'm making the calls, and it's getting people and talking to people that I meet. And so I don't always get 5 a day, but that is my goal.
Yep. And another good way to do that, guys, if you want to get consistent with that, is set 5 notes on your desk so that you have 5 notes sitting there, and your job is to get those notes in the mail after you make those phone calls. Those 2 steps alone. Everything that we talked about on growing your business, and what we're moving into elements where we're talking about the specifics. When they think of you in real estate and the phone starts ringing, you're going to go, oh my gosh, this is what he was talking about. And you'll get to use everything that we've covered. Like I said, this is a conversation. I like having conversation style, and I'm sharing the stuff that I know has come up enough that you're going to see it when you get enough business. All the scripts in the world, all these methods, all these things that we're talking about don't matter if you're not talking to people and getting that brain cell bought for real estate. Because remember, most people are targeting that outer ring, the haven't met, looking for the next deal, and they're passing over 98% of the people to get the next deal. And that's important. We don't take that piece out of the book. However, you're going to be getting 1% to 2% conversion, 2% if you get really good because you do it for a long time. And you can do it every single day. You can still lead generate, call FSBOs, call expireds every single day. However, if you don't stay in touch with them after that first initial contact, that's where the pipeline never gets packed, and you don't get to grow your business to the point where all of this stuff starts showing up. So I can teach this and share this information so well and naturally with you guys because it shows up every day in my world, and has for 20 years. I won't say it shows up every day. I'll say it shows up all the time over 20 years, multiple times. And here's the cool part. A lot of what we've covered in Ignite. So now even think about this. If you're going to go through the next round, you're going to go through 3 times. This is your annual commitment, right? When you go through again, a lot of the stuff I share is not a ton of stuff. Like there's so much stuff you could learn and so many scripts you could get, but there's probably half a dozen or a dozen things that are the same thing over and over and over and over again. That has streamlined it and shortcut the process, that you don't have to use 3 other scripts to get here. You use this one modified script to get there. And it just streamlines everything and makes it go faster so you can produce more transactions without having to give up your life and work 60 hours. So thanks for kicking that thought off for me, Scott. That went way deep. Anybody else have anything? Okay, we have our sponsor on. Do you want to jump on and just share a little bit with us on what value you can bring to the group and how we can best help you?
Absolutely. Well, thanks for making a moment to see some people. Hey, Natalka, finally great to see a face with the emails. Scott Lee, formerly of Atlantic Home Loans, as many of you may have heard, Atlantic Home Loans has been acquired by Guaranteed Rate, and it's all gone down a week ago today. So we're moving over as an entire unit, and that means everything you've always liked about Atlantic Home Loans, kind of on steroids. It's really wild to go from a boutique lender like we've been to one of the largest in the country, bringing all those tools to work with you guys. So our tech level is going to go through the roof. Our marketing tools that we've been able to work with you guys, the number of products we can do. For example, I have a co-op loan that I got through KW. Atlantic Home Loans wasn't able to do that because of the status of that specific condo at the outlet Atlantic had for co-ops. I'm able to do it at Guaranteed Rate. So that basically means I'm going to help you guys be able to close more things with the outstanding customer service you've always expected from us at Atlantic. So what I'm going to do is put my chat information in the chat box, my updated contact information. For those of you who worked with me before, my phone's still the same. Still can reach me at scottleaf.com for your applications, but now my email is going to be different. That's the real key thing, along with the name change. So you can go into your market centers, grab those banners that are in your conference room, and sell them on eBay as collector's items. So we're real excited about this and the tools that we're able to bring to the table to work with you guys. With that said, Coach, it is back to you, and let me get my contact in the box. If you guys need me, I know you got a lot of great stuff in this class, so rather distract from it. You guys can reach me anytime, call me, and help you with any scenario and pre-approvals that you need.
All right, and thank you, Scott. And for clarity, we're talking now it's guaranteed, right? Forget about Atlantic. It's guaranteed now, right?
Atlantic Home Loans will be fading off into the sunset permanently. I did not quit and go to Guaranteed Rate. We moved as an entire unit. CEO on down is all going to Guaranteed Rate.
Gotcha. So, guys, today we're talking about prospecting too. So the prospecting piece that we're talking about, if it's internet lead capture, I'm going to give you some tips on some things that you can increase the amount of leads that are coming in to make your prospecting easier. Just know these guys are waiting around. I bet Scott would be glad to take that list of internet leads you have and maybe pump it into some of this technology stuff that they have that might be able to start a little drip plan on from his side to try and get them to communicate. And he might grab them up and bring them back to life for you. Would that be safe to say, Scott?
Oh, absolutely. Those are just, you hit on a few of the tools that we have at our disposal. And look, if it's going to help you do more business, we've got some great tools to help you accomplish that.
Guys, I do that all the time. I give them, I'll farm them out to 2 or 3 people and just ask them to follow up. And if they just give me back a response and let me know, connected, not connected, disconnected number, whatever, I probably have some of those notes too. I'm telling you, when you get the interaction back from them and they're updating you on your list, might be a good loan officer to have in your arsenal, because they're actually responding and checking and trying to earn your business versus just waiting for a deal. Now, they do like those too. So, all right, guys, let's jump into the material then. Any questions or anything that anybody wants to make sure they get out of prospecting today?
I'm jumping out. Thank you all for your time.
You betcha. Thanks for being here and thanks for sponsoring. All right, cool. So everybody, you guys can see the slideshow, right? We're on Ignite. Okay, good. Cool. And then if you have your printout too, you'll have that as well. So prospecting methods. Let's see. Today we're actually moving over to the run your business part. I'm gonna make sure I got the right one. That did say elements, session 1. Yes, prospecting. Okay. Lead generating for buyers and sellers on the run part of your business, right? Make sure my screen shows me everything. All right, there we go. All right, so we talked about this before in Spark, and it is the funnel, and it's the prospecting and marketing. Guys, I'm telling you right now, make a note of this. There's so many ways that you're going to find that you can generate suspects, is what I call them. Maybe not prospects yet, but suspects. It's through the internet. It's through Facebook. You could see people talking. You get referrals. You get all this stuff. If you don't capture those and get those into a funnel, which is like command, right? So that you can get them categorized either as lead or a contact or a suspect or a prospect, then what happens is your natural effort to get a hold of any lead or to see it or to find it is one thing. That effort of getting them on the phone, knowing right now, you guys have heard this enough, that 98% of them are not going to do anything today. Even though it doesn't make sense if you're newer to real estate and you're like, well, they went on a website and they clicked on the picture of the house and they wanted to know more information about the house. They still may be 3 to 4 to 5 months away from even buying yet. So when we say 98% aren't buying, it's aren't buying today. Some of them might be buying tomorrow. The majority of them are probably buying 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks from now. So on this prospecting and marketing, the way I like to say it is if you get a couple internet leads today and you just call them, you do your natural thing. You're going with it. You call them. Obviously you would if you got them, right? You call them, you leave a message. They don't answer, whatever. You email them, right away, waiting for a response, no response. So you send another one out later in the afternoon. You remember to kind of check in again, whether it's call them, whether it's email them, whether it's whatever, text them, right? And then by tomorrow, maybe you'll make another attempt just to try and get it. Hey, just want to make sure I'm not missing your call, whatever that might be. But tomorrow, 2 more leads come in. And so you jump on those right away. And then you're trying to get them on the phone and you're doing the same process, right? And then it's like, oh, shoot, the one from yesterday, I got to follow up. So now we go to 3 days from now, a couple more leads show up. You're trying to call the last person for the second day in a row, and you're not going to call the first person for a third day in a row. And all that's gone for nothing, where you can put them in command and start them on a smart plan. And remember your smart plans. If you're using command or smart plans or any database at all, almost always, all of them are going to give you an all email follow-up system, drip plan. It could be, just whatever that drip plan is. If it does not have you looking at the contact record, pulling up the phone number and dialing the number, the plan is not going to work. It's going to get you a 1% return without you thinking of it. So there are people that are bringing in thousands of leads a month or a year and barely getting not even 1 to 2 to 3% of them in their database where they're actually talking to them, but yet all those people are moving. So hopefully the mindset of just capturing everything and getting it in your database, knowing that 98% of them will not be buying now, and you do a great job of staying in touch with them, that you're going to capture that business later. All right. Okay. You guys can see my screen. Okay. Right. Something weird just popped up. Okay, cool. So we got to get them captured to be able to convert them, to cultivate them and convert them into closings. And you just don't want to lose that business. All right. Let me see if I had any notes on that. Oh, this was something I had in here at the beginning. It's just dive deep. Oh, I know what this is. This is out of one of your supplement pages, and it's just diving deep into prospecting methods. You've got your approach, you got the act, you got the ask, and you got the advance. Actually, I'm not even looking at my group. Let me see if I can pull that down so I can see you guys, see what I've got too, so you guys can see what I'm trying to show you. So this is in one of your supplements, that the Elements book, in your supplements book. They also, what else is in there that we're going to talk about today are all the different places that you can prospect from. Honestly, though, this comes up in so much training and there's so much there. Guys, pick 1 or 2 or 3 that you really want to do. But I'm going to tell you, there's 10 ways to get 10 deals in real estate, or maybe even 100 ways to get 10 deals in real estate. So you obviously are going to set up systems and be on purpose for the ones that work for you the best or that you like to do. If you don't like to door knock, I'm telling you, that right there, you don't have to door knock. If you don't like doing open houses, you don't have to do open houses. There are things about some of those that are really good in the fact that if you're new and you don't have a lot of money and you've got a lot of time because you're not closing 10 deals a month yet, you have time, then door knocking and open houses are free. It takes time, not money, to do. If you've got a lot of money, then you don't have to do the time stuff. You can use your money to leverage your time back into your life, and you can buy postcards and blast a neighborhood, or, you know, whatever that is. The thing is, though, is if you're spending money, even if somebody has money, because I coach a lot of people that might have a big nest egg of money, and it's like, I'm good for 6 months. I've got money to get this real estate thing going. But if on month one, you're not tracking a 5 to 10 times return from every dollar you're pulling out of there, you're not going to be able to replace it. And you can get to 6 months in no time at all, and it's gone. And then it's over, and there's nothing replaced. So if you're going to spend money, make sure you get a return on investment of $5 to $10 if you can. Do the smart stuff. Don't just throw stuff out there and try it. And then again, on your time as well, I mean, if you're doing that, you better be getting deals out of it, because you're now face to face. So if you're not getting enough deals and you're putting too much time, there's one thing to learning and being and experiencing is going to help you get better. And, you know, like going out and previewing properties and doing that stuff, it gives you knowledge in your head and makes you confident to be able to talk to these prospects and convert them. But if you're doing open houses every weekend and you've done it for 6 months and you've never closed a deal, then that should be a red flag for you. Like, okay, I'm taking time away, 2 hours, 3 hours on a Sunday. I've done this every Sunday for 6 months and I've gotten no deals. Then that just says you might need to work on what? Maybe like scripts. Maybe you need to market the open house better because you're not getting people through. But if you're getting tons of people through and you're not converting, then maybe you do need to get some scripts down. And it just, by doing it more, you will be able to pinpoint what you need. And because you've been going through these sessions, if you keep attending and you keep coming through, something's going to say, I know where there's a script on that. So that kind of even reiterates something I said at a previous session. Having a little pocket notebook that every time you're talking to someone and you don't get, say, a listing agreement signed, or you don't get the buyer agency signed, or they won't come in and meet with you for the buyer agency, or they want to go look at a property and you went and showed them and they didn't buy it and they didn't give you their information. Write that stuff down. What was the last thing they said? And that can be your source book to go find the scripts that you're actually seeing show up in your life. I know I'm kind of babbling a little bit, but hopefully that's kind of ringing true to all of you, because prospecting is, the mindset is just blow through it and, you know, make 100 calls to get one. You gotta get a no to get a yes. Well, yeah, but work on turning more of the no's into yeses so that you can get more yeses than you do no's. I don't know if you'll get more yeses than no's, but don't just go for the no's on the easy path. That's what a lot of people do. Hey, you thinking about buying or selling real estate right now? No. Okay, well, I didn't expect you to. Do you know anybody else that is? No. Okay, well, if you think of somebody, will you call me? Okay, bye, click. I had a client once that was calling, you know, his 20 a day, every day during Bold, and he wanted me to hold him accountable to that. Well, at the end of the week, at the end of, like, I think it was 3 weeks, he had no appointments. And I was just like, you're either not doing the 20 or you're not working it right, because you should have like 3 appointments by now. There's no way you shouldn't have 3 appointments. And he was literally blowing through the script that fast. And I said, let's slow down for a minute and let's just calm down on that script for a minute. And I want you to try and keep him on the phone. Try to keep every person on the phone and get into a general conversation. Guys, his business changed. Over that next month, he started getting more appointments. He's putting in less people, but he was getting more connections and more appointments because he was writing handwritten notes and he wasn't just blasting through it. So you can waste that hour of making those calls. Or really, if you were to call 100 people in a day, it's 5.5 hours. You can waste 5.5 hours. If you can make those 100 calls and you've got your scripts down and you can get them to stay on the phone longer, and the people that don't do anything still go into your database and still get a note that didn't hang up on you, that you connected with or had a good conversation with, that's going to turn into the business that's where the bigger percentage is coming in. So today what we're kind of focusing on is this, just the path, just different lead methods, getting them in your database, different places to go to them. This kind of shows you how just tweaking what you're doing with your prospects when you're talking to them. The purpose and intention I would hope that you would get out of any connection is to strengthen your relationship first, not to find the next deal. I just have a note here. Capturing becomes your life. That is your life thing. Is I am an information gatherer, and I happen to sell real estate as a byproduct of that. So everything that happens with every single person, actually just did it today. I was on the Clubhouse app and some guy was talking and he said something. So I'm looking at his profile. I'm going into Google. I'm searching his name. I found one thing that said what city he lived in. So I'm taking that down. I'm trying to figure out his address, right? And I didn't find his address. I think all I found was his email. But now I can send him a direct message and say, hey, I really appreciated what you shared today. I was actually looking for your information online. I couldn't find your address anywhere. I know you live in blah, blah, blah. Do you still live there? You know, and just want to connect and make sure we stay connected. Now, that address doesn't have anything to do with me being connected to him. I could stay connected to him through email, but I cannot send him a note that just says, thanks so much for sharing today. Really love that information. That's the key that's going to move me over to another level with him that, oh my gosh, that Korn guy, he is so cool. And there's nothing cool about me other than I just wrote him a note and I stayed top of mind. But every time somebody says my name like that, it's buying brain cells. It's moving me. Oh, who's this guy? And now somebody else is doing it. So that's what you want to have happen when you're capturing these leads. So on lead generation, let's see, drive into the message to the desired audience. So I know there are a lot of you that are targeting certain people. Make sure that your message matches the market. Make sure you have an offer that makes sense to the people. Just when you're talking to people, what I try to do with this whole message thing is to get them to ask me what I want to tell them. Let me say that again. If you can develop your message and your conversation to get them to ask you what you actually would like to do. Do you want to list your house? You want to list their house when you call them? Then get them to say, hey, what's all involved with listing my house? So how would that conversation go? You know, and that might be just calling saying, hey, you're a homeowner. I'm not sure if you know what's really going on in the market, but I was looking at some crazy numbers in your neighborhood, right? Well, what kind of crazy numbers? It's like, well, I'm just looking at, you know, last couple of years. Now, understand this is probably not an immediate conversation with a stranger. This is probably a for sale by owner. We've already gotten into the conversation. I'm connecting a little bit, right? So then I come to, where's my value proposition? So you guys should have your value propositions written out. If not, do that. Go back and watch the value proposition and knock it out. Let's go through every session and just knock out one big thing before the end of the year. Get your value proposition, get all three of those written down, get your prospect list, which three things you're going to target in 2022 after you do today's session. What are the three things that you're going to target in 2022? And those are going to be your focus. And we're going to set a plan up around that. So go back through these and grab one thing from every session and get it like on paper in front of you, because that's your business plan. So anyway, back to this message. My message to that homeowner is, as a homeowner, I'm sure it's important to know what's going on in the neighborhood and what your neighbors are selling for, right? And yeah. So, you know, one of the things I was just looking at is your neighborhood and reviewing the market stats, looking at the prices. It's like the appreciation that's happened because of the lack of supply has been unbelievable. You may not even realize what your house is worth now. And he's going to say, well, what is it worth? Right? So now I just got him to say, when can you come by and give me a CMA on my house? So, well, what is my house worth? Well, I tell you what, that's a great question. I was looking through it. Let me come by. I'll bring this information with me. When I see your house, I can see where you fit on this, in this realm. And we can kind of pinpoint about where I think you would be based on the current market conditions. and you'll be able to actually tell this too, because I actually help you understand the market better than most real estate agents, because we show you everything that's been selling. So when could I come by just for maybe even 15 minutes and just run through this? So now it's like I'm just set up an appointment and he's asked for it. So they're going to say yes more often. So just make sure that that message matches your market and have an offer that gives them a benefit, right? Now, this other stuff, the target audience, the market conditions, direct offer, all that stuff. I mean, I just do that stuff through the drip plan and the follow-up calls and things like that. Make sure I didn't have anything else. Your message with your database is to strengthen your relationship. They're going to move. Everyone's going to move in the next 10 years. Oh, and I will say you do sell real estate. So make sure you are talking about real estate sometimes. I know I keep pushing towards the other side of relationship building, but you do have to layer real estate in there. You sell real estate, right? So again, encourage that into the conversation to where they will ask you about real estate. All right, we've already seen this come up a couple of times in a couple past sessions, and just really the different lead generation methods. Marketing is going to be that blasting, it's money, it's postcards. I call it lead receiving, where they say passive here. You're lead receiving. You're waiting for these people to have hopefully seen a message that you wanted them to see, and they're going to pick up the phone and call you, right? And it is long-term results. I'm going to reiterate this too. In the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book, Gary Keller interviewed 28 agents. They're all in the back of the book, their picture, their bio, about their team. They weren't all at Keller Williams when that book was written, right? But those people have they're all making $1 million in real estate. And I know all of them personally. And I think they've all been in business as long or longer than I have been. So they were in business for 10, 20, 30 years. So everything, when you look at the book and it says it's a 50-to-1 return for haven't mets, that 50-to-1 return is technically 2%. But 2% came from the 28 agents that are doing $1 million worth of real estate growth. Like that's their net, not in sales. That's their net that they keep. And they have been doing this for years. They've done pumpkin giveaways, they've done pie giveaways, they've done billboards, they've done mailings, they're in the community, they're calling people regularly. They've probably sold, over 1,000 homes in that time frame, probably 2,000 or 3,000 homes in that time frame. So that 50-to-2 return, even though it's haven't met database, they have a market presence and an image that people do think of them when they think of real estate. They drive by their signs all the time. So that can be a little bit skewed if you're convincing yourself that 50-to-1 isn't bad. No, it's really probably a 0.25% return if you're starting out new with no image, no brand. Let me say something on that too, because as you're prospecting, your brand or your image or whatever, if you're spending time trying to get your logo perfect and your letterhead pretty and all this other stuff, doesn't matter. If you're newer in real estate, even a year or two, you don't have a brand yet. You don't have a following yet. You could literally use the blank signs from your office, or not blank signs, the office signs from your office and go out and list a house. You don't have a brand or a following yet. You're going to do that over time through your drip plans, that you're going to have that logo and image on there. So don't spend a bunch of time up front trying to get this image and make all my websites look pretty together and all my letterhead, and I'm not picking up the phone talking to people, because it's not going to matter if you're not doing that. Okay, so on this, let me see here, the prospecting, when the market shifts. Let's see here. Customer creation activities like your expireds and your FSBOs, that's being a little more proactive. Oh, that's what I want to say here. Like if you're going to choose whatever method you're going to choose here, choose the method that's going to get you the quickest results. I just had a conversation with an agent in an office yesterday, trying to remember what I told her. Oh, she was talking about, getting buyers. And what do I really do to find buyers or attract buyers? What's my message to the buyers to get them to work with me? Because I don't have enough experience yet on the listing side. I'm meeting more buyers than I am anyone else. And so what I always say is when you're picking your path that you're going to prospect, try to think of the ways that would get you the most immediate, quickest results. For example, I'll give you several of them right now that you can, this is like an enhancement on what we're going to talk about when we talk about FSBOs and expireds and all that stuff. You could literally go, well, for her, she was looking for buyers. I said, great. What price range do you want to sell in? What do you think you're comfortable selling? And then you just go to the MLS and draw a circle around the areas that you want to work in. So the ones that are closest to your home, if you're going to go door knock, or the areas that you're familiar in that you want to do, and put in the price range and search for the homes that sold 5 to 10 years ago. So under sold date, she put 1/1/2012, I think it was, or 2011 to 1/1/2016. So that was 5 years ago to 10 years ago. And then what I said was, then go through the history on the MLS, if you have a history tab, and see if they've sold since they bought, like see what the name is on the tax record. And if between 2011 and today it has not sold, then that's probably the person that bought it. If they bought it in 2015, did it sell since 2015? If it had not sold from 2015 to today, the tax record name is the person that's on there. So now you can go back to fastpeoplesearch.com and put in that name and put in the city and see if it shows up on that address. I'm telling you, if they've been there for 5 years or longer, they're probably going to show up on Fast People Search as that address that's in the tax record. And now you know they own that, they bought that listing 5 to 10 years ago. They're most likely going to be moving soon. They're starting to think about it. If they, I mean, unless they're just somebody's going to be there for 30 years, but that's random. The average person has already moved or is thinking about it, right? So that's going to skew that in her favor. And then I said, and here's the bonus thing. They have a house to sell. So you're going to get a listing for every buyer that you pick up. So anyway, let me just pause out for a second. Do you guys have any questions about maybe some methods that you're using? How do you get a little smarter on it if you feel like you're not being smart yet? Anybody doing anything particular that you want to ask for some more particulars on tightening that up? All right, so let's look at some of those methods and see if this can ring a bell for you guys. So, I mean, like I said, turn to page 4 in your handout. There's a list of all the different places, listings without agency, FSBOs, expired. Circle prospecting is a big thing. Now, circle prospecting, again, if you're going to circle prospect because you want to pick up business, that means that you're probably calling around that neighborhood or the condo or whatever when there's a new listing. Just make sure that it's a neighborhood that actually turns over. I've seen this come up so many times with coaching clients where, yeah, I'm going to farm a neighborhood. We get the whole plan in place and they're going to target this neighborhood. Great. How many sales are in that neighborhood in the last 12 months? Well, there's only 50 homes, but it's my favorite gated community that my parents live in, right? But there's 50 homes. So there's like 5 sales a year. Because that's not the neighborhood you probably want to pick as your farm neighborhood or your circle prospect neighborhood. The most you can get in there is 5 homes if you get 100% capture on market share. So again, I would need to get 100% capture market share. I really need to know them all personally. Like if it were my parents lived there and it's a gated community and I grew up in every single person's driveway in that neighborhood, that's a different story. I'm probably going to get all 5 of them. I've got one new person that I'm helping with her business, and she lives in a elderly person condo building, and she's already getting her second listing in 2 months in real estate in that building. But she's just out, she's out in the lobby and meeting them in the common area all the time and mentioning that she's a real estate agent. She's handing out her card, doing the traditional stuff. But she's a totally new market. Like she's not from here. She's starting out ground zero and she's been in real estate for a long time. So she's already capturing some business out of that building by being active and around the building. You talk about what we've been talking about in this class, like being on purpose to meet every single owner and then write them a handwritten note. Dude, if you're in an elderly community condo building and you write them a note, their kids don't even write them notes. So it's going to be huge. And the impact that's going to have on that relationship is going to be amazing. So a couple other ones that I popped out of here. I really tried to pick some stuff like out of the blue, because again, when I teach, I don't want you to be dependent upon me to help you figure out what you need to do. I want you to start thinking differently so you can figure out the shortcut on these different things when these opportunities show up. Obviously, you can call me. I just don't want to coach from a dependent model. I want it to be an interdependent, like I want to call it a partnership, a team where you're like, hey, I just got this opportunity. I was thinking about doing this. So, oh man, that's awesome. Oh, and I do this too. And you're like, oh, that's awesome. You know, and we work together on it. That's the kind of stuff that really gets things going and makes things happen faster. So I'll give you a couple that might hit you and they might not, but I just want to get you guys to think differently. So builders, I made this my priority one year. I was going to be the next builder representative. And understand too that there are a lot of real estate agents, when they get connected with a builder or a community or subdivision, you guys have new subdivisions coming in, right? A little bit here and there. Yeah. I mean, they may be low now, but they used to be everywhere. And what I would do is when Parade of Homes happened, I would literally get the Parade of Homes magazine book and I would go through the book. This is prospecting days. I would go through the book and I would find every builder in there and I would research and I'd find out their phone number, whatever. It'd give me their office address. I'd search tax records to see if I could find them on tax records. Now, builders, many times they own multiple properties. But if I pulled up multiple properties and I went through the tax record, it's like most of the tax records were being sent to this one address, which was either their office or their home. So it was real easy to figure out their home address. So I could send them a note. So I could then start the process of being on purpose to get them on the phone, to connect. And if they didn't hang up on me, I could write them a note and I moved them through the process. So my system with the builders was, after Parade of Homes, was to send a congratulations on the Parade of Homes, you know, and I'd drop it in the mail and I had a phone call. I'd leave them a message and just say, hey, just want to say congrats on the Parade of Homes, especially if they won an award. They were getting that call from me, but it would go down through the line. Somewhere along the line, the next second or third call was, hey, I was just curious. And the message even changed to just curious if you're getting the same amount of traffic that you did 2 months ago during the Parade of Homes. And I would ask a question. What would it be like if you could keep the same amount of traffic coming through Parade of Homes after the parade was over, right? And how many people came through the parade that have come back to see you since the parade's been over? So that's what I do a little differently. I actually turn your name into a household name that we have parade of traffic all the time. We're always marketing and we're getting you sales throughout the year, not just during Parade of Homes, because most of their realtors are just sitting in the model and probably not even collecting names and numbers. They're just popping through the 1 or 2 deals. So that was my message. Guys, I got 6 appointments with builders. I think it was either 6 or 9. Now I can't remember. I'm pretty sure it was 6 appointments. The builders called me, little old Brad, who was just prospecting, but they called me after about 10 touches. They're between the letter, a couple letters, couple emails, couple phone calls, left them messages and the handwritten note, right? They called me and said, hey, I think I want to get with you and find out what those 10 things are that you do that other real estate agents aren't doing, which they're just referencing something I sent them. We do 10 things that other realtors don't do to get you more exposure to your neighborhood, right? So I just went in with that, and it was talking about 360 websites that we go on versus 100 out of MLS. I fill in every single MLS field where you may, a lot of times if you're throwing a house on and your realtor that you might be using isn't filling in all that information because you don't have it, you're not coming up on as many searches. It's the follow-up. When people come through the model home, we actually get their information. We send them a handwritten note thanking them for coming through. And then we drip neighborhood stuff on them. So that one particular neighborhood we did had a baseball field, it had a soccer field, and a swimming pool, and something else. So like some of the things that we send out are the T-ball, young kids, no fighting. I forget what the heck that brand is called. It's in baseball mostly, but it's a brand where everybody's good at the game. The parents don't curse at each other. They don't scream and yell at the kids. So we sent out the rules on having a safe baseball area. We sent out swimming safety things. For soccer, we sent out the rules to soccer because a lot of people probably don't know soccer rules. So we just send out stuff that was going into the neighborhood to get them enticed, information in front of them about that stuff. It wasn't really about the neighborhood soccer field. It was just soccer rules. So anyway, those builders called. I got 6 appointments with builders and picked up 2 subdivisions from that just by doing that prospecting, right? Another one, networking events. This one, all of you could grab onto. Business to business network groups. I know everybody who's been in one before is not in one now, or you're not in the same one that you've been in for a long time, is because they don't work. Well, they actually do work, but nobody does anything to make them work. So if you get into a BNI group, for example, and you make it your sole purpose to do a one-on-one with every single person in there to learn about their business, right? Because what you are doing is building a network of people that you can give to all of your clients, on people they can rely on for these services, because we know they're not buying or selling right now. So our connection is, we're the connector. We connect them to other things they need, so that when they start calling the painter and the deck replacement guy, we know they may be thinking it's time to get that stuff fixed because we might be selling, right? So I'm building this network of people. Put them on an 8x8. I mean, all of my affiliates, everybody who's affiliate, you guys are experiencing the real true affiliate plan. If you click the link and you're on my follow-up plan, the very first letter you got said something like, hey, this is what I send to affiliates. I basically just copied my 8x8 and I send them this letter first that says, we're looking forward to being business with you. Would like to share some of the ways that we keep in touch with our database, and feel free to copy and use anything you want. Sound familiar for those of you that are on that? Yep, you've seen it. So all I did was throw that in. So now my 8x8 is really a 9 piece, because I added that other letter in the front that set up that they're just getting the 8x8 and 33 touch. But see, even you guys getting that right now. You're getting my 8x8 and 33 touch, talking about Kansas City a little bit. I mean, it might not even say anything about Kansas City specifically, but it gave my resume was in there. That we got a chicken soup from the soul story, some other stuff. You're automatically going to think of Brad Korn in Kansas City even more so, getting that from me, because I'm sending it to you. And I said, feel free to copy and use anything you want in your follow-up plan. So now I've created this value behind it that you're actually kind of glancing at a little bit. And if you are on that plan and you've gotten those from me, how many of you have actually used some of the stuff that's in there, right? Because you're reading it going, really? This is what he sends out? This is how he does 100 deals a year? Are you kidding? No, content doesn't matter. It's the brand. It's seeing my name. It makes you want to show up every day and go, this guy, he's doing something consistently, persistently. I need to be in that class, right? So, but you're going to automatically think of me when you think of Kansas City. All right. Any questions? Feel free to jump in whenever. Dive deep on prospecting methods. So this is just where we're talking about the different things. Door knocking, agent to agent referrals. Oh my gosh, guys, this is so huge. Listen, nothing I do is accidental. Every single webinar that's going on right now, when we do masterminds, when we do mega camp, and there's a chat window and you can see all the people. I just got off of one. It was a bunch of people from our region was on a call right before this. I am writing people's names down that are in the windows. I am taking screenshots and going back in. If I can't get it quick enough, I'll do a screenshot and I'm going to go track that person down. And they're going to get a note from me that says, man, it was great on the call today. Thanks for your share. Not everybody's going to get it. There's not enough time. So I do as many as I can, or I connect with as many people as I can. So 2 people were on there. Larry and Penny were both OPs at Wichita, Kansas, and over on the Kansas side. I sent them direct messages they're both going to get a note from me, right? The note's going to come in the mail and go, it's great seeing you on the Zoom today. Thanks for your sharing, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then they're going to get the drip that just is like, I've got one that I send to realtors. It's like the 12 ideas in 12 months. And it's really everything that's on the free resource site that you guys have is just dripping it back out to them for the whole year. In fact, once you go to that site, you get those things drip back on you for a whole year. It's just 12 ideas in 12 months. Well, it's like 12 ideas in 12 months. I really like Brad's class. I'm going to see what he's sending. Some of the stuff I'll send you, you'll be like, what? You know, phone calls that we don't, or I don't remember one of them. It says, get my CD on, or a DVD on how I got on HGTV or something stupid. It's like, what's a DVD? Do we still have DVD players? You know? So some of the stuff is still old, but it's really just going for the branding. And if somebody really wanted it, they would call me and go, do you have that on YouTube by chance? Yeah, I do. And then I might even update my letter once in a while if I get it enough times. But otherwise, I'm just not worried about it. Content doesn't matter. It's the phone call that's going to pop in that I'm going to give Penny, I'm going to give Larry, that's really going to be anything. And it doesn't have to be anything. They're OPs in my region. What's going to happen, though, is Brad Korn now came back to the top again. And if somebody says, you know, I'm looking for a coach, or they got a referral to Lee Summit, they're going to be like, oh, you need to call Brad Korn. So they could be new agents in their office running around needing a referral, and they go to their manager, and I'm buying brain cells from all of that. So agent to agent referrals. Guys, if you're going to do open houses, my note on this would be create the ultimate open house system. Like ultimate meaning, when you sit down and you think about it, what would be the way to get the most people through this open house, the most people possible? Because it's not in an open house, we're just going for traffic flow, right? Probably not going to sell the listing that we're sitting in at the open house. Maybe that showed up a little bit more, but I'm going to guess not in this market with the shortage of homes. But it's not about that. It's about getting in front of the most people to meet the buyers that are ready to buy something. You also know that 99.9% of them are not going to buy the house that they're in. So you're trying to capture them as a buyer. So what do you do to get the most traffic through the house? So as you go through your stuff, it's like, well, here's what I did. 1 week before the open house, we put minimum 10 open house signs up. Now, our city would pick those signs up, but they weren't not allowed. Okay. It wasn't against the law for me to place a sign. Like if I'm going to get fined, then I got to figure out a different way to do it. But if you can put up signs, put up a bunch of them. In fact, I even went through the process of finding the cheapest open house signs I could find that were that I wouldn't care if I lost them, and I would buy 100 of them. So I literally found at one point 2-color, double-sided, corrugated, 8 about this size, you know, the 8.5 or 15 by 12 or something. I don't know what it was. And it had the stakes, and it was $3 a sign with the stakes. So I spent $300 to buy 100 of them. They would last me 6 months. Like I would put up 10 at every open house, sometimes more, depending on how many busy streets we have, but it was a minimum of 10. Everywhere the week before. I double them up on the busy street. Ultimate open house, right? Get the most traffic possible. If I'm going to do it, I'm going all out. I'm not going to decide to do it Saturday morning and see what happens on Sunday, right? I'm going to do it a week in advance. I'm going to be on purpose, right? And then what's your other ultimate house? Do you want to send an invite or go knock on the doors and meet the neighbors? Because the shortcut is usually when a house comes on the market, there's a turnover in the neighborhood. So they see something sell. What happens is their reticular activator is now turned on. They realize everything that's wrong with their house. They realize the next house comes on. Oh, everybody's bailing out here. Something must be wrong. I'm going to put my house on the market. So I always targeted the houses right around the newest listings, right? And newest listings might be part of your open house, because if you can get any realtor to let you hold the house open, it's a brand new listing. You can advertise first open. Some reason that grabs even more people. Oh, I want to get through the first open. It could be sold. I don't care. So anyway, it's inviting the neighbors. When you go to put the directional arrow on the corner, did you go up and knock on the door and ask for permission to put the sign there? It's another connection. It's not about putting the sign. And it's not about the open house. That's all nothing. right? Because I'm not going to get that much there. I've got to get the big numbers there so I can get more opportunity out of it. But it's not, there's no one in the planet that has figured out every single open house they sell a house. That it's not the case. It's probably 1 out of every 10 open houses you sell a house. And I know about 10% of my inventory, I sell somebody my own listing, maybe 10% of the time, 90% of the time it's co-op agent. But the 10% of the time is not selling them the house they called on, it's selling them another house or finding them a house, and we facilitate it. So that's probably 10%. Only 1% of the time did they walk in or call on that house and buy that house. It's a very small percentage. So let's see. Social media every single month. There's people on there talking about moving, getting married, having babies. I mean, that can be part of your prospecting time to just be on purpose and look for people that are doing that versus just going on there and randomly slapping up some post about what the market's doing and see if they're going to respond to you. That's not going to do it. Do direct messages through Messenger saying, congratulations on the baby. Start a conversation, right? How's everything going? Is your house, everything good? Or are you guys planning a move? And just see what they say, right? Hopefully you know them. Otherwise, that might be kind of creepy. But I talk about leads versus suspects. Remember, 98% of them are not moving. So they can be a suspect, not a prospect. Searching for people moving to your area on all the social media sites, people getting married. That's it. Covered all that. All right, door knocking, the approach, the act, the ask, and advance. So this is on page 5 in your participation guide. So people are going to remember you when you come in. We talked about this approach, I think on one other call, somebody had asked, you know, it might not be legal for you to knock on their door, then you can't door knock there. However, if you know anybody in the neighborhood, you could ask if they've got any meetings together. I mean, like you can do sponsorships for like HOA meetings and things like that, as long as you're going to be on purpose about it and get in there to meet people, to get into a two-way conversation, to find out what they love about the neighborhood, and then write the note that way, right? Now, after you get 3 or 4 people from that group, you can start saying, who are your other friends in here that I should know that love this neighborhood, right? So then you can get introduced that way. So you can do a whole neighborhood without door knocking. But if you are going to door knock, do whatever you have to do. Like I told one guy, one coaching client, I said, just knock on the door, stand away from the door with your mask on, and maybe have something sitting up there if you were going to leave something. That way, if they answer the door, say, I wanted to be respectful of COVID. However, I'm just really going through the neighborhood, just meeting the people that live here and seeing what they love about the neighborhood, right? And if they don't want you to come up, just say, well, I left you my information, would love to find out more. So if it's short and quick, it's short and quick, you know. But on the ask, let's see here. Actually, let me ask you guys this. You look at this stuff and you look at door knocking. Is there anybody that is doing door knocking, or is nobody doing door knocking?
Brad, I've been using door knocking, but only when I've had open house. And what I do is I kind of go around. I mean, the week before, I try to knock on all the doors around, 5 and 5 on either side and across, and just say, hey, do you know the Baileys? I'm having an open house. They're selling. Oh, they're selling. Yeah. Where whatever's happening, and just kind of it's with an open house or with a listing, it's really, you've got something to talk about automatically. And that's the first thing out of my mouth. Did you see the sign? It's for sale. Do you know anybody who wants to move into the neighborhood? If you got, sons, daughters, whatever. And that's, I feel comfortable doing that. The door knocking just on a random, pull up into a neighborhood is kind of, I don't know, creepy. I don't feel like I have as much to say or as much credibility. Open house, hey, I got something to talk about.
Yep. Yeah. And again, it just depends on what your purpose is. That circle prospecting is really dialed in on the activity that's going around in the neighborhood or whatever. Yeah. Door knocking is just another way to add another source of prospecting if you like doing it. Doesn't mean you have to do it. what was I going to say about door knocking? I had something in my mind that I was going to say on that.
You had to leave them with some value. You had to, what of value do you give them?
Yeah. No, so here's value. Here's a couple different ideas on if you're targeting neighborhoods and stuff. If there's a listing in a neighborhood that gets multiple offers, or you made an offer on a house and you got beat out by the other offers, that's when you could hit those similar properties in that neighborhood to go knock on the door with your contract that you didn't get accepted, right? Black out the names, black out the address, and black out the price, or you could even leave the price in there maybe, but you could actually just go door to door and say, hey, it's a crazy hot market out there. You're probably not thinking of selling, but I have a contract right here on somebody that lost out on the one down the street, and they really want to live in this neighborhood. So remember, I may not be doing this for the purpose of finding that person a house. I'm doing that for the purpose of seeing if they would think about selling, because the odds are my buyer's probably not going to like their house anyway. So that's not the ultimate purpose. The ultimate purpose is using that contract as a reason to meet with them to see what their value of their home would be or what they could sell for, and if this buyer is a possibility. So there's a lot of agents that send out letters that say, I've got a buyer for your house. I've got buyers for your house. Meet with me, meet with me, meet with me. The consumers already know you don't have, they're not picking up the phone and calling that agent going, oh my God, this person's getting 1,000 listings this year because they said they had buyers. No, in fact, when I call on those, yeah, we keep getting this letter from this one. It's like, yeah, just ask them to give you the buyer's name. See if they really have a buyer, for sale by owners. When you call for sale by owners, that's the same thing. I say, if a realtor does knock on your door and say they have a buyer for your house, just ask for the name. What's the name and number of the person, how long they've been working with them. If they can't answer that, they're just trying to get an appointment with you. Well, so am I, but I'm just taking my competition out of the game by saying that. So yeah, that's where you bring the values. You got a contract, or, just the one neighborhood printouts. You can print out of one neighborhood, just a one-line list of the sales in the last 6 months. Just print it right off MLS and say, did you realize that your values of your home in your neighborhood are over 250,000 or 550,000 in your guys' case, right? So it's just, those are things of value that you can leave with them or drop in the mail to them or whatever. The key thing is to get a two-way conversation, to write the note, you have their address, and then put that as part of your drip plan. So if you're going to door knock, and there's a way that you could soften that before you do the actual door knocking, more people would answer the door and not make you stand a mile away and not be so short with you. So anything else to add on that? Okay. All right, agent-to-agent referrals. I'm telling you what, this is huge because, and here's what you got to understand too. So you guys in New Jersey, of everyone there, I might get 1 referral or 2 referrals a year from somebody in New Jersey. And not everybody's always got referrals. However, if I'm sending you these messages and these ideas and these tips and tricks, I'm telling you, you will find or notice more people you might know in Kansas City. One of the pieces that I send out to my referral drip plan is a memory jogger. So if you're on my referral drip plan, you get something along the way. It says, hey, I wanted to give you a memory jogger. Who do you know in Kansas City, or that might be in Kansas City, that you either, and it says went to high school with, right? Or college with, family members, and it might even say Kansas City or Missouri. Yeah, did somebody jump in? Okay. Thought I missed something. So it might even say Kansas City and Missouri or Kansas. And then it goes through this memory jogger list. And then in front of that, it says, hey, I want to help you get more referrals this year. I want to help you get more referrals this year by helping you remember some people you may know in the area. And I didn't want to leave it to chance that they might remember to call you when they're moving, right? So I'd rather be proactive and get a list from you now. I'm going to send them a note that says, hey, Scott and I connected online in the real estate business. I heard you know him and just wanted to introduce myself. And if you have any real estate questions for the Kansas City market, let me know. So now they're tagged in my database under Scott. And if they ever called me or that's also a trigger for him to go, oh, I probably should follow up with them. Then they've heard from me. Oh, yeah, we've already heard from Brad. We got a note from him in the mail. I've done two things. I bought brain cells for them, and you now go, I've got a good referral source here. I'm going to send him all my referrals. So it's just being on purpose. So I just do it every time I meet somebody at a conference. When I collect their card, I get their card, I write on the back like what day and where we met. So it was Monday at the elevator. That's all I need to know for your note. And see, I'm not being not being genuine. I don't know how to say that the right way. My brain's not working. I'm very genuine, and I'm making that note for myself to know that when I write the note, I'm helping you remember too, that I'm the guy at the elevator on Monday. And the conversation would have gone well there. That's where we connected or something. That's the only reason why I would mention that. If nothing happened and we just stood next to each other, you wouldn't get anything. We would have had to have connected, had a great talk. Monday, the day at the elevator, that was so awesome what you shared. Look forward to keeping in touch with you. And yeah, any referrals. And I may not even do that in the note. I may just leave it at that. In fact, I started, if we get back into live conferences again, even if you guys are doing board stuff, regional stuff around the area, if you're doing anything like that, if you go to a Buffini conference, whoever, even your competitors, if they're there, what I would do is whenever we go to Austin, I would just go buy 40 touristy trap postcards that are all about pictures of Austin or the hotel that we were at or near where we were, the bats and the bridge or whatever. I would just buy 40 of those note cards, and I would write 5 of those a day during the conference. The conference was usually a week or so long. Well, actually, I'd probably collect about 10 to 20 cards a day. So I knew I could write about 40 notes before I get back on the plane and head back home. So that's the people that I would add during conference time. And then they went on drip plans. So agent to agent referrals. Okay, and then in prospecting for your referrals and command, just really the referral network, if you made it a goal to go in there every day and just add 5 new agents, start with where you are and work your way out. Several people have mentioned that even driving an hour is a heck of a commute for you guys. So I would start in the referral network from about an hour out, and I would just start going out from there and just add them to your network. And then when they respond, the best ones, the ones that stick or get in my database, everybody, I'm eventually going to get everybody in my database, but the ones that take priority are the ones that actually called me or sent me a message. They've gotten in hold of me. They put me on a drip plan. So they're doing something a little more than just accepted it and click and that's over. Even though I still go through those randomly, when I'm prospecting for referral business, I will go to that list because that's the best list I can go to. People at Keller Williams know who I am, and they've accepted my referral network, and they were playing in Command or Kelly, right? So that's my list I'm going to go to, and I'm going to reach out to people that haven't even reached out to me yet. So there's all that stuff's in Kelly. You can actually just put in an area and say, hey, I want to connect with you. So that you might want to play with that. Be prospecting based and marketing enhanced. Prospecting based is adding that personal touch back in. So knocking on the door, asking for permission to put the direction sign up or whatever that might be. Get every single one of those people into Command and tag them. Well, really not even tag them as much as just start a smart plan. And make sure your smart plan at the end of every smart plan tells you the smart plan is over, start another smart plan. Make sure every smart plan you use says start the next smart plan. Prospecting based and marketing enhanced on open houses. They just give you some great ideas here. If you want to you get a speaker in there to talk about something, you could probably get like a Home Depot guy to do some kind of home thing. I've never done that before, but that's a better way to be more prospecting based. It's going to be people that are going to come in for a reason, offer a gift. A lot of people sometimes do food, but technically not. I just put the signs up everywhere. Get the house in showing. Oh, go live. There's a good one. Go live on Facebook. In fact, go live on Facebook 2 days before for a preview, like maybe just walking around the outside. We'll be holding this house open on Sunday. Hope you can make it. Then maybe on the night before, do another live where you could actually, I think when I did live, I saved the video so that I could replay it again on Facebook Saturday. And then Sunday, when I get there to do the open house, I'll do another live session. So I believe that the live gives you some options to do that stuff to make it look like you're going live again, and or just repost the video again and say, hope to see you at the open house. So it's just being more prospecting based versus waiting for them to maybe just show up. Same with social media. Guys, I will tell you what, here's the biggest tip I can give you on this. I know we're a couple minutes over. To get your 5 a day, you cannot run out of people that you know or who know you. You're not gonna get there in your lifetime, because if you go to your friends list on Facebook, and if you added them to your master list, go to every one of their friends list. So go to your friends list and go through every single friend that you have friended and go through their friends list and look at how many people they are friends with in their friends list that you're not friends with yet, that you're like, oh, I know them. Oh, I know them. Oh, I know them too. You're going to pick up 2 or 3 more for every single person on your friends list. So you have an unlimited number of 5 a day. You can't run out, right? Cannot run out. If you do, the other thing is take your phone contact list and compare it to your Facebook friends list. You know that probably over half to 60%, maybe even more than that, of people in your phone are not your Facebook friends list, right? So you could either add them to your Facebook friends list to keep your list growing and get to 5,000, and then go through each of their lists and find your mutual friends, or just pull them up on Facebook from your phone if they're not friends with them and see who their friends are and find 2 or 3 more people that you're friends with. So, I mean, it's unlimited. The 5 a day can never end. I don't even know how somebody could physically ever get there. All right, I already talked about the 10 signs everywhere. Social media. Oh yeah, there is an open house checklist, back to the open houses, in your workbook. So there's an open house checklist of what to do a week before, the day of, things like that. Let me see if I had any notes on social media. I mean, you can get into the whole banner ad thing and directed audiences and all that stuff, but I just work on the individual relationships on my social media stuff. Do fun posts, like unique things in properties that you find. Start kind of a thread of that. Like most of the stuff I post on Facebook is just kind of funny, fun, weird, that kind of stuff. I don't try to get too serious on Facebook. All right, I think we just about have gotten through everything. 20% business, 80% personal. I'm probably 90% personal, 10% business. I always layer real estate in there somehow. Guys, I made a post once that there was Garanimal wallpaper, and they had taken that wallpaper and put it on the fans, on the little kids' room fan. So there was the lion and the giraffe and the hippo and something else, monkey or whatever, and it matched the paperwork. So I laughed at the fan when I saw it. So I took a picture of the fan and I put that on social media, and I said, got a $500,000 fan and you get a free house with it. I mean, it's just being silly, right? Trying to get people's attention. And it was just something unique about that house that stood out. All right. Make sure there's no life-changing things that I haven't covered here. Take action, man. Develop a plan. Get that stuff in place. Start putting the people in your database every single day. Every single day, every single day. Most people got all of their leads from less than 5 sources. That's why I say just pick the ones you want to do, create a plan around it, and make it happen. So just take this list, narrow it down to the 2, 3, or 4 that you're going to do, and create a plan around it. So that's where we are for today. Hopefully you guys, did you guys pick up anything? Any good little ideas, nuggets here and there, whatever? All right,
I did.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is Janet Lee Pilitary. Thank you, Coach Korn. I am a brand new agent, and I am picking up a lot of great tips from you for every class I take. So I think the first step I have to take is do the action plan and get going. Just do it.
Yep, just do it. Do it, do it, do it. All right. I was trying to find this, I'm in something else. I'm in a PDF. I was just going to do the review, but guys, go post on your Facebook page somewhere what you got out of today's class. Let your leadership know. Send Mary, send all your leaders, whoever your productivity coach is, whoever, just let them know you had a great class today.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks.
Any other questions, anything before I tune you guys out?
Can I ask just one quick question?
You can ask one question. It doesn't even have to be quick.
Okay, thank you. So you when we were talking about open houses, you said people really like first open. I didn't know what you meant by that term.
It's the first time the house has been held open.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and I don't know what it is about it, but it's just something about first open ever, or first open. I don't know. It's just something that catches on with that. Now, I will tell you, when I did my open houses, when I bought the 100 signs, this one just confuses agents all the time. My system is going to be, if I'm doing an open house, I already have a system in place and the signs go out a week in advance. We always did it on Sunday. I always did it from 12 to 2. And that's what was on the sign, open 12 to 2. It's like, well, what if I want to do an open house like 10 to 4 because it's a new neighborhood? But fine, do that. But the signs of our normal open houses are always this day at this time. And that's my system. And I controlled it that way. And I'll tell you what, when I started, guys, I was in open houses 3 days a week because it was free. It cost me nothing. I was getting exposure. I had my signs out with no listings, but it had my logo on it. So I was putting up 10 of those and it looked like I'm selling everything around the area. And I would hold them open on Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday because I was new in real estate and I had that fire in my belly and I needed a closing because I was already in the hole from everything I got taken for to get into real estate, right? About $2,000 in the hole. So I would do Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday. I did them 3 days a week, cost nothing. I mean, as long as I wasn't taken away from my family, I was doing them. It's free.
Right. Okay, great. Thank you.
Yep.